Italy once stood at the heart of Europe's economic miracle. In the decades after World War II, the country transformed itself at breathtaking speed. Between 1950 and 1973, Italy's economy grew at an average rate of 5 to 6% per year, according to World Bank historical data. Millions of Italians moved from farms into factories. Cities expanded, wages rose, and productivity surged. By the late 1980s, Italy had become the fifth largest economy in the world, richer per person than many northern European countries. This period became known as Italy's Golden Age, a time when growth felt permanent. Even today, Italy still looks powerful on paper. Its economy is worth around $2.37 trillion, making it the third largest economy in the Eurozone after Germany and France. Italy remains one of the world's top exporters of machinery, luxury goods, food, and industrial equipment. Italian brands dominate fashion, design, and high-end manufacturing. And yet, something broke. Italy never truly recovered from that golden age. The first major fracture came in 1992, a year that still looms large in Italy's economic memory. That year, Italy was hit by a twin crisis, financial and political, that permanently changed its trajectory. On the financial side, Italy's currency, the lira, came under heavy speculative attack. Investors lost confidence in Italy's ability to control inflation and debt. The central bank burned through billions in reserves trying to defend the currency, failed, and was eventually forced to devalue the lira by more than 30% and exit the European exchange rate mechanism. For ordinary Italians, this meant savings lost value overnight and borrowing costs surged. At the same time, a massive corruption investigation known as Pulite, or clean hands, exploded into public view. Prosecutors uncovered systemic bribery across politics, business, and public contracts. Entire political parties that had governed Italy since World War II collapsed within months. Governments fell one after another. Institutional trust was shattered. This moment matters because Italy never fully rebuilt political stability afterward. From that point on, Italy entered a long period of fragile governments and short political horizons. Since World War II, Italy has had over 65 governments, but after the 1990s, turnover became even faster. Many governments lasted barely a year. Long-term economic planning became extremely difficult when leadership kept changing. And while politics became unstable, growth quietly disappeared. According to IMF and World Bank data, from 1995 onward, Italy's average annual GDP growth fell to around 0.5%, making it one of the slowest-growing advanced economies in the world. Between 2000 and 2019, Italy's total economic growth was under 5%. Not per year but in total. By comparison, Germany grew by more than 30% over the same period. Growth is not just a statistic. It determines wages, jobs, debt, and opportunity. And Italy lost it. The deepest reason lies in productivity, how much value workers produce per hour. Italy's productivity growth essentially flatlined after the mid-1990s. OECD data shows that Italy is the only major European economy where productivity today is barely higher than it was 25 years ago. This is extraordinary for a country that once led industrial innovation. Why did productivity stagnate? Because Italy's economic structure stopped evolving. Italy's golden age was built on manufacturing, but it relied heavily on small, family-owned firms. These businesses are flexible and world-class in craftsmanship, but many resisted scaling up, outside ownership, automation, and digitalization. While German firms invested aggressively in robotics, software, and R&D, many Italian firms remained small and undercapitalized. As global competition intensified, Italy's firms found it harder to compete on cost or scale. Low productivity led directly to stagnant wages. According to OECD figures, real wages in Italy today are lower than they were in the late 1990s. That means an average Italian worker has less purchasing power now than their parents did 25 years ago. To maintain social stability without growth, governments borrowed. And this is where debt became Italy's second major trap. Italy entered the euro era with high public debt, but weak growth made it much worse. Year after year, governments borrowed to fund pensions, healthcare, and public employment. Today, Italy's public debt stands at over 140% of GDP, one of the highest levels in the developed world, totaling more than €3 trillion. High debt changes everything. It forces governments to spend billions each year just on interest. It reduces money available for education, infrastructure, and innovation. It makes investors nervous, especially during crises. Joining the euro in 1999 locked this problem in place. Before the euro, Italy could devalue its currency to regain competitiveness. After adopting the euro, that tool disappeared. Italy now shared a currency with Germany, but without Germany's productivity, export surplus, or fiscal discipline. To stay competitive, Italy needed deep reforms. But reforms are painful, and Italy's unstable politics made them difficult. Then demographics delivered another blow. Italy is one of the oldest countries in the world. Over 23% of the population is above 65, and the population has begun to shrink. Birth rates are among the lowest in Europe. Fewer young workers enter the labor force each year, while pension and healthcare costs rise. Italy aged before it became rich enough to support an aging society. Young Italians face low wages, rigid labor markets, and limited mobility. Many leave for Germany, the UK, or Northern Europe. This brain drain further weakens productivity. Replacing a skilled engineer or doctor takes decades, but Italy loses them every year. Then came the shocks. The 2008 global financial crisis hit Italy harder than most. GDP fell sharply and never fully recovered. The Eurozone debt crisis forced austerity, cutting public investment at the worst possible time. COVID delivered another blow, shrinking the economy by nearly 9% in 2020. Inflation surged after the energy shock, squeezing households already dealing with stagnant incomes. Italy survived all of this. But survival is not recovery. Italy did not collapse like Greece. It did not default like Sri Lanka. It simply stopped moving forward. The tragedy of Italy is not poverty. It is stagnation. A country rich enough to remember greatness, but too constrained to recreate it. And unless those structural issues are finally confronted, Italy's golden age will remain what it is today, a memory, not a foundation for the future. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to World Economy for more such videos.